Hi everyone! Previously we've spoken about the building blocks of interaction, attention and listening, and play. Building on from that, today we're going to speak about understanding of language and how you can support your child's understanding of language. Children first learn familiar routines, and they will know what's happening next in their routine by the familiar objects that you're using. So when they see you coming with their bottle of milk, they know they're going to be getting a drink of milk. If they see you with the towel, they know it's time to get out of the bath because that's the next step in their routine. As adults name objects and actions during your everyday routines, children will start to learn language. It starts off as one keyword, so the child will understand one keyword in an instruction or a sentence. So they'll maybe understand, where's your shoes? Or get me the ball, and they'll understand one keyword in that instruction. As they develop, they'll start to be able to follow instructions that have two keywords in it. So it might be give mummy the ball or get your brother's shoes. So they would understand two keywords in those instructions. And then over time, they'll start to understand longer instructions and sentences with three keywords and more. The other thing that develops over time is your child's understanding of concrete information. So information that's here and now, information that's based on real objects or actions that are happening in front of them, things that are very familiar to them. So their most familiar people in their lives, the most familiar objects, the things they're interested in, the actions that they do every day, like eat, drink, sleep, play, and places that they visit regularly. Over time, children will start to learn more abstract information and concepts. So that could be things like, we'll start with simpler concepts like big and small, in, on, and under. And then in time develop into much more abstract concepts like first, next, and last, before and after, in the child's older years. As children grow as well, they can start to understand things that are happening out with the here and now. So they might start to be able to understand you when you talk about things in the past or things in the future. They'll also start to be able to learn more abstract concepts, as I've said, and that can include colours, numbers and letters. These are the things that will come much later once the child's already developed up a really good understanding of the vocabulary on the first side there. So things to talk about who, what, doing and where will come before a child can talk about the why and the how of information. So these are some top tips for supporting children's understanding. If your child is at the earlier stages of understanding language, so if maybe they only understand language within the context of familiar everyday routines, or maybe if they can only understand kind of single word instructions, or instructions with one key piece of information, what's really important to do is highlight the key words when you're talking to your child. So you can do that by keeping your language very short and simple. We talk about the 4 S's, so say less, stress the key words, go slow so your child can hear the important information in language, and show, which is a really important one. We'll go into a bit more in the next slide. That just means show your child as much visual information as possible about the word as you say it. And then repeat, repeat, repeat. So repeat those keywords so that your child builds their understanding of the word. If your child is at a later stage of understanding language, so maybe they already can understand longer instructions, maybe in their own language, they're starting to use sentences as well, then what would be good to do for the later stages is to extend the topic. So whatever your child is interested in, you can extend it. So that might be including words that describe what your child's interested in, words that explain the why and the how behind what's happening, words to talk about feelings, talking about the past and the future, and using imaginary play and pretending or predicting what's going to happen. Showing children what we mean as we talk is one of the most important things we can do to support their understanding. So that includes holding up objects as you ask your child if that's what they want. You could hold up 2 objects to offer your child a choice. It includes matching what you're doing to what you're saying. So as you go through your daily routines with your child, talk about what you are doing as you do it, like shoes on, jacket on, as you perform the actions, so your child can learn the language associated with those actions. Makaton signs is another great way to build children's understanding of language and help them learn the words. So it could be, do you want a drink? Do you want a snack? It's time to wash your hands. And making the Makaton sign as you say the words helps the children to understand the words and learn to use them themselves. Any kind of gestures or pointings, really good. So waving or pointing at what you mean to help the child understand. And as they get older, using photographs and pictures, so looking at photographs together of their day on your phone or printed photographs, or looking at the pictures in a book and talking about what you can see and pointing at the pictures as you say the words really helps children to understand language and learn language. So to sum it up, it's just matching what you do to what you say helps your child to understand. So just to sum up the top tips for supporting your child to understand language, it's really important to be mindful of their stage of language development. So children at earlier stages of language development really benefit when you use short, simple language, when you highlight the new words and repeat them lots of times to help your child learn, and when you show your child what you mean as you say it, using Makaton, using pictures, using objects. All children at later stages of language development would benefit from you building their understanding of the world by extending the topic. So that's talking about explanations, describing the past and the future, talking about feelings and imagining and pretending. And what's always important to do is to check that your child has understood what you've asked them to do. And because frustration can arise where maybe we've given our children too long an instruction or used information that's too abstract for their stage of understanding. Whereas checking in with our child, have you understood that instruction, can help us to understand whether we should make our instructions shorter or add more visual information to help our child understand. As always, if you've got any concerns about your child's understanding of language or any aspect of their communication development, please do get in touch. You can either speak to your key worker about how to get in touch with me, or you can send me a message on the Family app or leave a comment on this post. Thank you.